What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Alex here, and today I'm going to be reviewing chapter 131 of Chainsaw Man. But as always, before I get on to the review, I would kindly appreciate it if you guys drop a like on the video. It helps boost the video in the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing to the channel for more Chainsaw Man content. Alright, so the chapter starts off with Denji and Asa falling into the worm devil's mouth, where the fallen devil is floating behind them, having her own monologue and seemingly threatening the worm devil with death if she doesn't eat Denji and Asa. And just when I thought that Denji and Asa are gonna actually get out of this, the fallen devil finally uses her brain and inflicts Denji and Asa into the worm devil's mouth using her gravity manipulation, and they're actually eaten by the worm devil. And the fallen devil asks the worm devil how the meal tasted, a lot like how it represents their food to Gordon Ramsay on the Hell's Kitchen, which is honestly really funny to me. And in the next panel, like Gordon Ramsay, the worm devil spits Denji and Asa out, with both of them just being knocked out for the count. Then we get to see the falling devil actually have a complete and utter mental breakdown, explaining how she made the meal with lots of love. I mean, I just absolutely love how Fujimoto really did humanize the fallen devil and made her into a character in this moment. Strangely enough, I feel kinda bad for her, despite the amount of death and destruction that she actually caused. And the next panel, we get a double spread of the fallen devil absolutely destroying the worm devil, which just shows how strong the fallen devil actually is, because even though she is a bit of a meme, and a lot of people joked on her, she was just as dangerous, if not even more destructive, than the Darkness Devil we saw in part 1, who killed most of the main cast in that arc in the story in only one chapter. This segues into the biggest plot twist so far in the story, because the Fallen Devil was working for and made a contract with the Famine Devil. And this makes a lot of sense given in chapter 122 when her and Yoshida were on their dinner date together. She knew when and where the Famine Devil would appear. Bigger question is, so how would she even make a contract with any of these devils, especially in part 1, where it was explained that while devils are allowed to make contracts with humans, they aren't allowed to make contracts with one another. Next, we see the Famine Devil with what looks like almost to be a doll of the Fallen Devil that allowed her to cast the Fallen Devil back to hell. So maybe she was able to summon the Fallen Devil and maybe even the Eternity Devil from hell to work with her using this kind of method, which is actually new to the series, because previously the only way you would be able to cast devils in and out of hell was by making a contract with the Hell Devil or being able to open a portal in and out of hell. And the next panel, we get an even bigger reveal that Nayuta was the one who made the Worm Devil barf of Denji and Asa by controlling its brain. And this is pretty crazy reveal. It's not something I expected out of Nayuta's character, because in the previous chapters, although we could tell she was definitely a bit like Makima with the way that she acted, for being a lot more innocent, in this chapter she just goes full-blown Makima. And this is pretty insane considering how Control actually thinks, even at her current strength, she's superior to the Worm Devil that even Denji couldn't defeat, and she instantly controlled it. Is absolutely insane. And Nayuta just starts interrogating the Famine Devil and seems ready to actually square up with her. And if she has to, which is just crazy, and it really does show even without the crazy contract that Makima had with the Prime Minister that essentially made her immortal, it really does show that the Controllable is just an inherently strong devil. I would say, going off of this, possibly one of the strongest horsemen behind the Death Devil, and probably by the end of the series behind the War Devil. But I mean, that's a story for another day. One thing that is interesting about all this is it's implied that this isn't the first time Nayuta has interacted with the Famine Devil, since she refers to her as her big sister in the Japanese translation and seems familiar with her, despite the fact that she shouldn't even remember her, given that she doesn't have any of Makima's memories. And we know this isn't something she would inherently know, considering in chapter 118 you'll reveal that she wasn't able to recognize the Famine Devil just by looking at her. She only recognized her when the Famine Devil actually revealed herself. So at one point, it's entirely possible Nayuta encountered the Famine Devil and has been speaking to her behind Denji's back. And obviously, the relationship they have compared to how Makima viewed her sisters is a lot better, considering at the end of part 1, part of Makima's plan of making this perfect world for humans involved controlling Chainsaw Man and erasing her sisters from existence via Chainsaw Man's devil-eating abilities. So at least we know the Famine Devil doesn't hold any grudges from possibly being betrayed and almost killed by her former sister Makima. And after this is where things get extremely strange, where the Famine Devil reveals that the Nostradamus theory is coming true. Which, I mean, is true, but the craziest part about this statement is the fact that the Famine Devil is the one who actually put the prophecy in motion in the first place. After all, she did say to Yoshida when she was explaining the Nostradamus prophecy that a devil would appear that would be the first of the devils who would shepherd the world into the ultimate terror. And this devil would be a primal devil such as the Falling Devil. And this is where I think Yoru's previous statement of the Famine Devil being crazy is starting to come into play. Because the Famine Devil contradicts herself and reveals that she doesn't want the end of the world to happen despite directly causing the prophecy to go into motion. Mainly because if she does, she won't be able to get Chinese food and pizza, which is absolutely hilarious and ironic that the Famine Devil of all the devils and all the people would appreciate food so much, considering part of her strength relies on the fear of hunger. This of course gets the attention of Nayuta, who before not being mature enough to understand the full implication of an actual apocalypse on the earth, just laughed at the idea of this, actually looked terrified by the idea of not having pizza. The Famine Devil then reveals that neither her nor the Control Devil or even Chainsaw Man would be able to stop the prophecy, which is interesting because you would think Chainsaw Man would be able to eat this threat out of existence, but not even he may be strong enough to defeat whatever is coming in the future. And it's revealed that only the War Devil can possibly stand a chance against the threat that is to come. And Nayuta, being a smart little girl that she is, asks why the Famine Devil would try to kill Denji and Asa, and the Famine Devil reveals one of her abilities is that if she's able to starve a person, she's actually able to turn them into her pawn. And she originally intended on having Asa and Denji starve in the belly of the Worm Devil so she could turn the War Devil and possibly Denji into her pawns. And it's really unknown what making a person into a pawn means, whether it's similar to how Makima turned the hybrids into her pawns, or is something different entirely. But this would actually explain why the Famine Devil made a contract or a deal with the Eternity Devil in order to trap Asa and Denji in the aquarium, hopefully to start them out to turn her into her pawns. And finally, the Famine Devil asks Nayuta to team up with her so they can actually have a chance at stopping the end of the world. And Nayuta just firmly denies the Famine Devil's offer, which is a wise move on Nayuta's part, considering if she had been watching Denji the entire time, she's fully aware of how the Famine Devil treats her allies. After all, the Eternity Devil did mention that he and the Famine Devil had a deal, and it's obvious the Famine Devil didn't keep her end of the bargain, whatever that deal was, or she always intended on double-crossing the Eternity Devil, which shows that the Famine Devil is extremely cunning, and is definitely someone that's, well, probably pretty cutthroat. And when the Famine Devil asks Nayuta why she won't work with her, Nayuta just pulls a Yoshida and says it's because she has to go to school. We get a cute panel of Nayuta at school raising her hand, ready to answer the teacher's questions. Overall, this was a really good chapter that raises so many questions and had so many plot twists after plot twists. Like, if the Famine Devil is the one who technically started the Nostradamus prophecy, why would Rishida just let her walk away scot-free? Especially with the death toll she's caused as a result of the Falling Devil chasing after Asa. I mean, I imagine she probably killed thousands of people as a result of the Falling Devil's rampage. And it really is looking like Yoru's statement of the Famine Devil being crazy, well, it's on full display, because even though she seemingly loves humanity, she doesn't have a problem killing thousands of people and controlling her own sister if it means that it'll keep the world from ending. And this chapter really raises questions about Nayuta and her morality, because she's keeping a lot of secrets away from Denji, and this chapter really makes me question if she really cares about Denji at all. I mean, obviously she does, she came to save him, but does she really view him as a person? Or just someone who she keeps around to provide her with love and affection, kind of like a gigolo. But either way it goes, I really am liking where Fujimoto is taking Nayuta's character, and I really am starting to kind of like to see how we're actually seeing more of the true Nayuta, not the one that we see around Denji that's obviously playing along and kind of is acting in a way to manipulate Denji, but more like the real Nayuta who's more or less being herself. And the final question I have for you guys before I end this off: if the Famine Devil didn't send Fake Sawman to save Asa and Denji, then who did? Let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think sent Fake Sawman to ruin the Famine Devil's plans? And is the Famine Devil's intentions as good as they say they are, or is Yoru actually right about her? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section, but with all that being said, thank you guys for watching another one of my Chainsaw Man reviews. This is Alex, and I'm signing out.